Selden back here at Crazy Dad's Garage. Let's give you another extension of the episodes on the Crazy Dad Lotus. So we have done a little bit of stuff since I last talked to you. I came in and we ended up getting these drive shafts put together and bolted to the hubs in the center there. And I don't have that one adjusted quite right to get the brake drum on yet, but we do have the brake drum on over here on the passenger side. And we came in and I built a wooden bracket here, and I don't know if I've shown this yet, but if I have, just bear with me as I repeat. So when you take the transaxle out of this thing and the engine, which I have out, the suspension and everything just flops and is loose because right down there, those two trailing arms that are going out to the sides there, they bolt to a bracket on the transaxle. And when you take them loose, the suspension just pops out and is out of control and you can't even roll the thing around. And I wanted to get this where it was mobile once I started putting it together. So that's a couple of the things that we've got done. I've got that. It's just held in place with those ropes and the bungee cords and stuff like that. I've got everything held in place so that it won't move. But that's going to allow me to make this thing mobile. And so I got to that point. Now the next project is the brake lines and the brake system. And I've kind of got it started there, and I thought, oh, I better stop and take a picture of this because some people think I'm crazy at this point. So what I started out with here, remember, was a car that was taken completely apart. So I've got all those parts I was showing you. I've got some pretty long brake lines here that would run the full length of the car. I've got had 4 flex hoses and a bunch of little lines. Little tiny lines there, a T, some more stuff that none of this was on the car, so we've put all of those pieces on there. And it's one giant jigsaw puzzle. And I do have, so when I got the car from Dan, he gave me this really cool shop manual for a Lotus. And I've got a picture here of the page for components of the braking system, Series 2 vehicles, which is what this one is, and a federal left-hand drive, so that would be mine. Over here on the opposing page, we have a right-hand drive one. And so this is supposed to tell me exactly how to put that brake system together, and great drawing there. Well, I ran into a couple of problems right off the bat. First of all, mine has power brakes. And so this one has no power boosters on it, which my power boosters are right down there in that box. And so no power boosters on this one. And then as I started back here in this section, so this is the trailing arm. So I've got the 2 tubes out to my rubber hoses that loop around. You can see those right there. And this looks to me to be the driver's side. And it's supposed to loop into a long V-shaped tube that goes over here and into a junction block. Well, my problem is, as I started laying these parts out, I got over there, and my long V-shaped piece that hooks into a junction block, the only way it lays out correctly is the junction block's on the driver's side. And it has to be that's the way it goes. It doesn't fit any other way, but this is showing it on the passenger side. So I've got some basic information to work from here. The general ideas in there, but again, it's a giant jigsaw puzzle, and I just have to start one piece at a time. What I decided to do was start back here at the wheel, because I knew where these red lines right here, they had to go here. That was pretty simple. I found those flex hoses. They had to go there. So on both sides I got those in, and then that allowed me to say, okay, this piece right here It's set up so that it naturally feeds into there, over here, and that one naturally hooked into the other side. So I'm good at that point. But then it had this other line on here, get myself situated here, that was fastened in this way. And these pieces were just laying together in the boxes that I got. And from there, this is the back of the car, and I need to be going to the front of the car. But that brake line, if I lay it in there, it ends up somewhere back here in the middle of nowhere. So it can't be right. So I've taken it off as part of my guesswork process. I actually believe that this one has been bent. I think that it goes in like this and goes up to the front of the car, and then I think right there it needs to be straightened out so that it runs up through the tunnel to the front of the car. But I'm not going to do that until I'm more sure. So I'm just explaining to you some of my logic here as I work through this process. I did find, okay, I know that these are my two front brake hoses, and I also know that these are my front brake lines that go out to those hoses. And the reason I can tell that is because I can look at this line in the picture right there, and it comes and has that jog to go around that T, so that'll go in another one. So here, there's my line. I've got a jog in it, so it's just the right sort of thing. So I will put it on the right hand side of the car, and then the mate to that one for the other side of the car is right here, and it shows it being a straight pipe. But I don't think it is. I believe that this is the one that I need to go there with, because it's roughly the right size and I don't have anything else the right size. So I'm going to put my front hoses in place on the front, and then I'm going to put this line over here, and then I'm going to stick this one in and see if they come together so that I could put that T in right there, which I've got laying right there on my chassis. So I've got that, and I'm going to go to that point and then try to keep connecting the dots from there. One thing that does have me puzzled is these three long lines that I've got here. Now remember, this does have a hydraulic clutch on it too, so some of this is going to be clutch stuff. But I think I've got extra stuff in here. I really don't think... Anyway, I think I've got an extra line. I think one of these will be, one of the red ones was the original one that ran from the front of the car to the back on a brake system. The other one I suspect was the clutch system. And that silver one laying on the floor over there, I suspect is something they got to replace them with. But I don't know that. And I've just got to keep piecing together until I get to that point and can actually say, aha, here's how it fits. So that's where I'm going next. I've got these two brake lines. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to fasten them into the clips that they go into here. Got to do a little bit of straightening on that one. Still tweaked a little bit. But I'll get that straightened out, fasten those. Then I can run my one that I know goes on this side and get it over to here. And I'll put the other one in, and I'm betting that they're going to come together somewhere in here where a T is supposed to be. So I can do that, and then that'll kind of lead me to, okay, so where do I go next? So kind of explaining some of the logic to you, how this process has to work out. It's a crazy deal, but we're going to keep putting it together, and that's how we do things at the Crazy Dad Garage. So we'll be back. I'll give you a picture as I get the brake system kind of all put together. I think I'm not sure yet, but I think the master cylinder and the brake booster actually mount to the fiberglass body, so I don't think I will get it fully hooked up, but I want to get everything in this chassis that I can, so that I can then bring the body in and start working on it before I actually get to the motor. So anyway, it's kind of fun. Maybe you got to be crazy like me, but I love doing this kind of stuff. And it's really fun as it comes together, and I'm going, I'm getting a car put together here. Really makes me feel good. So there you go. That's where we're at on the Crazy Dad Lotus today. And we'll be back as we explain a few more things as we go along here.